emotional meeting as Parkland families shared their grief with Pulse survivors in Orlando.
Papa John's ended its NFL sponsorship, and now another company is taking a slice of the action.
And the world's first national park is celebrating 146 years today.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Jack Buckmeyer.
And I'm Daniela Ibarra.
Yesterday, 2 weeks after the Florida school massacre, victims returned to school. Students wore shirts bearing messages of solidarity. Others carried flowers. Teachers eased students back into the routine with a short 4-hour class schedule. The school day began with 17 seconds of silence in honor of the 17 victims. Afterwards, they picked up where they left off 2 weeks ago in fourth period. Survivors of the shooting in Parkland met with survivors from the Pulse nightclub massacre in Orlando on Wednesday. They shared their grief and anger in a very emotional meeting. Naden Yanes reports.
Jury selection starts today for the widow of the Pulse nightclub gunman. Noor Salman is the only person facing federal charges for the 2016 attack. Her husband, Omar Mateen, killed 49 people at the Florida nightclub before he was fatally shot. Salman is accused of knowing about her husband's plans and providing him terroristic information. The trial is expected to last all month, and if Salman is convicted, she could spend the rest of her life behind bars.
You know, this weather we've been having this past week has been awful. I cannot wear my Crocs in the rain.
Yeah, I know. I am so ready to put away my umbrella for good. Let's head over to our weather anchor, Julian Esparza, with the latest. Julian?
Well, Jack, the good news is you can probably bring those Crocs out a little bit later today as the sun is supposed to return later today. Of course, we did see that rain yesterday. That was a bit of a bummer. But out there right now, not too bad. 52 degrees, a little bit on the cloudy side, though. It feels like 46 and a little bit on the windy side at 17 miles an hour. Tonight should be a nice night for the most part. 42 degrees, a little bit on the cloudy side. It'll dip it down into the 30s, though. Wind there at 5 miles an hour. Tomorrow should be a pretty similar story to today. Partly cloudy, a high of 68. It'll feel like 65, and the wind will remain there at 10 miles an hour. Stay tuned a little bit later in the show. I'll have more on if we're going to see some rain a little bit later this week. Danny, back to you.
Thanks, Julian. Just when you thought construction in Denton was over, another part of town is being shut down. Starting next week, the intersection of Avenue C and Eagle Drive will be partially closed for about 2 weeks. The project will close one lane at a time to try to keep traffic flowing. Buses will use alternate routes, and if you park in FS22, you'll end up in a different part of campus. School administrators will be providing more information in the coming days.
Coming up, a high school senior in Colorado gets rejected from a Texas school for reasons beyond his control.
And thousands of Dallas residents will experience gas outages in the next couple of weeks. We'll explain. The head baseball coach at Texas Wesleyan University is under fire for his response to a Colorado high school student. The coach says the school doesn't recruit players from Colorado because of failed drug tests. Karen Morfitt reports. Texas Wesleyan University said in a statement, quote, "We are aware of the email sent by our baseball coach, and the comments he made are in no way a reflection of Texas Wesleyan University, its values, or recruiting practices."
Almost 3,000 homes in Dallas will have gas outages for up to 3 weeks as Atmos Energy crews work to replace gas line systems. Adams officials said that excessive rain and runoff have added increased pressure on the gas line and caused leaks. Residents are not required to leave their homes, but will be without heat for water or cooking. Residents can call Atmos for questions at 972-964-4191. You know, just when I thought this rain was over and we were going in those spring temperatures, it just all went away.
I know, last night I got stuck in the parking lot, totally off guard without an umbrella. Let's head over to Julian with the forecast.
Well, guys, the good news is you can put those umbrellas away for now. Then we might need them a little bit later this week. But let's get right to the maps right now. 53 in McKinney, same here in Denton, 50 in Decatur. A little bit warmer out in Graham at 66, 51 up in Gainesville, and 52 in Sherman. Bigger picture across Texas now. Everyone's seeing about the same, 67 in Austin, 68 in Houston, a little bit warmer out there by the coast. Colder up in Oklahoma City, 46 degrees, and 45 out in El Paso. Your 7-day forecast now, like I said, today it should be mostly sunny, more around the afternoon hours. High 63 for today, 69 for tomorrow, another sunny day. Sunday, that's when the storms come back in, high or 80% chance of rain on that day rather. Monday and Tuesday, clouds roll back in, 65 on Monday, high of 61 on Tuesday. Wednesday, sun comes back out, high of 60. Thursday, and of course, the clouds do roll back in, high of 64 on that day. And like I said, around 2 o'clock today, sun's going to come out and should be a nice day for the most part. Daniela, back to you.
Thanks, Julian. Just a day after Papa John's announced it would end its NFL sponsorship, Pizza Hut is stepping up and taking over. Last fall, Papa John's blamed the NFL's response to player protests for slumping their sales. The company said it will now focus on its partnership with individual teams. Meanwhile, Pizza Hut's new contract is good for 4 years. It will begin in April with the upcoming draft. You know, with all this talk about pizza, I am so ready for the NFL to start.
You know, I am too. I'm ready. I'm really hopeful for this new upcoming season for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's head over to our sports anchor, Garen Shantz, with more on the Cowboys.
Thanks, guys. We're only 1 month into the NFL offseason. Will the Cowboys cut ties with their premier wide receiver? I'll have more on that after the break. The NFL Combine begins this Friday, and the Dallas Cowboys are making headlines. Star wide receiver Dez Bryant is set to make $12.5 million in 2018. Stephen Jones was asked what the Cowboys will do with Dez Bryant, and his response was, quote, "No one respects Dez more than I do, but we must determine what's in the best interest of our business." Dez Bryant recently appeared on 105.3 The Fan last Friday and said that he would silence his critics this upcoming season. Moving on, Dirk Nowitzki reached another milestone in his professional career last night. He made NBA history after nailing a fadeaway jumper in the second quarter of last night's game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. He became the 6th player in NBA history to reach 31,000 points. At 39 years old, Dirk Nowitzki has stated that if his body allows him to continue playing, he will. The Mavs take on the Chicago Bulls tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. That's all for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Garen. Happy birthday to the world's oldest national park, Yellowstone. Today, the park celebrates 146 years. The park made its debut on March 1st, 1872. John Coulter, who was part of the Lewis and Clark expedition, was the first American to explore the park. Yellowstone was made a national park by then-President Ulysses S. Grant when he signed the Yellowstone National Park Protection Act. The act protected over 2 million acres of land, which included geysers and mountains.
You know, I've never been to Yellowstone, but I've always wanted to go.
You know, I've always wanted to go too. I've always wanted to see if Yogi Bear's there. Well, thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon.
Join us tonight at 6 here on North Texas Television.